I'm here in my kitchen with the ingredients to make a chicken kale stew type of dish. So it's kind of overcast outside and rainy, so I wanted to make a one pot crock pot dish for my family. So I have some organic chicken thighs. I have some yellow potatoes. I have a yellow onion, some ginger. I have a jar of tomato sauce that I made over the weekend. I also have a jar of some garbanzo beans that I canned. I have a bunch of red kale. What is this? I forget. Garlic. Some sweet peppers. A bunch of carrots, black pepper, some fenugreek, or is it fenugreek? I forget, that I got from the bulk section. Some solar sea salt, a bit of garam masala spice, and some ground turmeric. Okay, so I have my crock pot set on high, and I'm just going to add in my my chicken thighs here, and over here in this bowl I've cut up a whole onion, about 4 cloves of garlic, and about maybe 5 to 6 little mini sweet peppers. So I think I kind of need both of my hands to add that. The thing that I love about using my crock pot is that I don't have to babysit the food that I cook, and I can just pretty much put everything into the pot at one time. So let me finish getting this all into the pot. Okay, so I put my chopped onions and what else did I say? Ginger and peppers in there, along with my chicken, and the crock pot is on. So right here I have a jar of some tomato sauce that I canned last week. Well, I wouldn't exactly say I canned it, just kind of made it and stored it. And these are some heirloom tomatoes that I got. So I'm trying to see how big this jar is, and I'm having trouble. I think this is like 24 ounces. So if you can see that, don't quote me. So basically I'm going to just pour the entire contents. All this is just some pureed heirloom tomatoes. I think this is 24 ounces. So basically all this is just some heirloom tomatoes that I pureed in my Vitamix, and then I cooked on the stove top. I'm reaching for a spoon here, so it's a little bit off camera. Then I cooked on the stove top until I got it the thickness and consistency that I wanted. So that's all it is. I didn't add any seasonings to it. So I'm just kind of giving this a stir so that the chicken won't be stuck to the bottom of my crock pot like this. So you don't have to cook this in the crock pot. Like, you know, you can cook this on your stove top in a Dutch oven, but I didn't want to have to necessarily watch this. I just kind of want to just throw a bunch of stuff in my crock pot and let it go. So I have that going, and over here I have a tablespoon measure, and right here's my ground fenugreek. So I'm going to get not quite a full tablespoon, but maybe 3/4, and I'm just going to add that to there, and I'm going to open up my black pepper, and just going to kind of, you know, you can season it to your liking. So I'm just showing you the seasonings that I'm putting in here, and I'm going to screw the top off of So I have right here my solar sea salt, and I'm just adding a bit, not too much, because you know you can always add more seasonings in the end. So here's my masala that I'm just kind of, that was probably about maybe a teaspoonful, and I have my turmeric. So that's probably about another teaspoon or so full of turmeric, and I'm going to stir this up again. And I know earlier in the video you saw that I had potatoes and some carrots and kale as well, because I have to let the chicken cook first, and I want to marinate with this tomato sauce. Oh right, and some garbanzo beans. Want to marinate with this tomato sauce that I made and the spices that I put in. So I haven't put my kale or potatoes in yet, because I don't want them to be mushy or anything. And I'm going to add my garbanzo beans, because my garbanzo beans are already cooked. I cooked them over the weekend as well, so I can just kind of, I'll probably just throw these in last, because I really don't have to do anything to them. So we'll be back once my chicken has cooked down a bit. Okay, so I'm checking my chicken, and of course it's not done. However, it's getting there. So I think I'm going to let this cook in the crock pot for probably about another 20 to 30. Okay, so it's been probably about 15 minutes, and the chicken is kind of starting to look like how okay, that's my dishwasher letting me know that it's finished cleaning the dishes. Okay, so it's looking how I want it to look. So it's not quite done, but it's like getting there. Okay, so I just strained my potatoes, and I'm just going to dump these inside of this yummy red chicken sauce here that I have going on. And I'm going to give it a stir. Well, not like really stir, but I'm just basically, I want to make sure that my potatoes are coated. Kind of get them inside the juice there so that they can cook. So, just kind of doing that. Okay, so I checked it again. Smells great. The potatoes are coming along. They're not done yet, but they're getting there. So since I'm kind of like cooking this in stages, what I'm going to do now is add the kale. So like I said, it really doesn't take long for these potatoes to cook. The chicken is really kind, you know, it's kind of starting to break up some. So the last thing, let me take my little spoon out here and put it on the side, is to add, well, one of the second to the last things. So I'm just going to add in like my kale. Just put it on top like I'm doing. My kale and my carrots. So, and let that, so you don't need to add any more liquid or anything to this, you know, unless you kind of want to make, you know, like kind of thin your stew out some. But okay, so this is what it's looking like with the kale kind of mixed up in there and the carrots mixed up in there. So I'm just kind of trying to push it down, so like that juice, see the juice coming up, so the juice kind of covers these ingredients. As you can see, you know, you don't need to add any broth or any water or any more tomato sauce to this. Okay, so here we are back again. My potatoes are pretty much done. They're like very tender. I did add about like a half a cup of water, so now I'm just going to top this off. I say this is probably about a cup, or maybe a little more than a cup. It probably equals out to about a can of cooked garbanzo beans. So you can always make your own and store those for whenever you need to use them for things like soups and salads and stuff like that. Okay, we are back again, and this smells great. That's my 5 children in the background. Look at that. Look at how that potato just came apart. So this is done. I'm probably maybe going to add a little bit more salt and a little bit more pepper, but oh my goodness. This, I wish I can kind of get in closer, but I'm going to end up fogging up my camera if I do. Look at that. This smells great. Okay, so here's the finished product. Here is the chicken kale potato stew that I made. And it's hot from the crock pot. Tastes delicious, smells delicious. And here's a slice of some gluten-free cornbread. Excuse me, not cornbread. I used farina wheat, which is just basically what's called cream of wheat or wheat farina. So I made that. You make it just like cornbread, except you don't use cornmeal. You use farina wheat. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the recipe. Thanks for watching. Bye.